So Taariq Lewis, I'm hailing from Berkeley, California. My company is called Promise. We're Promise Protocols, and we are essentially trying to offer something called decentralized credit reputation. Currently, really spending a lot of my time exercising or developing on-chain governance processes for upgrading chains in a decentralized manner. I think one of the biggest problems the world needs solving right now is alternatives to on-chain identity that don't require don't require you to either store any particularly sort of referring data in any off-chain or on-chain way. So one of the problems with identity in most on-chain solutions is that you have to end up trusting somebody with some sort of information to identify you. So I think really rethinking identity, what is the meaning of identity, what is identity, is something that is huge, because some people have to what I call cold start identities, right? So say that you suddenly find yourself in a position where you have to create a new identity for yourself, unconnected to anything in reality. It's very hard to do that. So giving people a chance to cold start identities so that they can live in a world where identities become discardable, I think is very, very important. Particularly for folks both in established and first world countries and third world countries. I think another big problem is I'm personally working on-chain governance. I think it's a coordination problem. So I think what we're going to find is as more chains come alive, how do you essentially upgrade a chain without depending upon foundations and central sort of repository of code or folks to do so in a decentralized manner? I think is another big problem. I think we're going to see more of that. And especially if it's not personality driven, right? So I think that's another huge problem. So chains to upgrade themselves without the need of either big personalities or massive foundation funding. Lots. And lastly, what's the last thing the world needs as a big problem? I think another big problem is bridging the real world to the on-chain world. I think I used to work in one of the first what I call NFT applications way back in the Stone Age of 2014. And I still think that there's a lot of work to be done although we've come, a lot of further with NFTs and all these cool things. I think there's still a lot of ways to bridge the real world back into the off-chain world. And I think those challenges are tough. So I think being able to find ways to, explore and solve new ways of thinking, not just old ways of thinking, using public key and cryptography will be very good.